Heroes and explorers have long sought to conquer these mountains, some seeking to uncover the past, others for riches and glory. Its jagged peaks and steep cliffs aren't its only dangers, however. Echoes of a forgotten age still remain, and scavengers have all but settled into its bones. These mountains were once home to a thriving civilization of builders. Masters of ember, metal, and stone, the dwarves constructed engineering marvels. Their lavish halls of bronze and gold still stand tall against the passage of time. And while their life hasn't filled these walls in centuries, their world remains protected. Automatons, once vital helpers in dwarven society, these steam-powered guardians now wander these ruins aimlessly, attacking any unfortunate intruders without discretion. Up in Econoc's highest peaks live the Voltura, an avian race of scavengers that survive solely off the remains and scraps of others, integrating it not only into their architecture and weaponry, but their ember-mutated bodies as well, attacking anything or anyone that may attempt to lay claim to their stolen spoils. The Voltura, like everyone else, are but visitors here, however, as no one truly owns these mountains.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Torchlight 3 Fun Day Friday stream. I'm Ector Bean, and today I have with me Project Lead Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, for jumping into this call today with us. You and the whole team have been super busy, as suggested by our 18 pages worth of patch notes. I know a lot of the community is super excited to hear what is going to be in this long list of patch notes, so I thought it would be fun for you to come onto the stream today and peruse through them and let people know what is coming up for this patch on Tuesday, while I, for the first time I think we have, playing Econoc on stream. So that would be really fun. I'm going to do that in the background. If you end up getting through all of that before the end of the stream, I'm sure the community would love to hear more stats or maybe ideas of some of the things that are coming up that didn't make it into this Tuesday's patch notes. So with that in mind, I'll just let you go ahead and get started because that's what the people are here this week for.
There's so much to talk about, Jill. You're totally right.
Yeah, so go ahead and get crazy. I'm going to just enjoy listening in and playing along.
All right, so just before we did this, Jill was pointing out that even with like the 18 pages of patch notes, we don't even cover anywhere in there yet, which means it's going to be many more than 18 pages probably by the time we're done. We don't even talk about the extra 50% of content that's being turned on today, or not today, in the upcoming patch, and what the contract system is and what all is in it, which are additional massive things coming to early access next week. So wow, we got a lot to go through. Where should we start, Jill? Where should we start with? Patch notes, Econoc.
Yeah, I think maybe start with
contracts.
Maybe start with some of the bigger stuff and then just
Okay, the bigger patch note stuff. So Jill went through thousands of things to fill these patch notes. Literally, I can see the change list numbers showing thousands. And so she pulled up to the top of these notes some of the bigger, more meaty changes that are coming, and especially things that we've heard from you that we are making changes to. The first one on the list is Lifebound. And you're going to see me keep looking off to the side here because that's where the notes are on my computers and stuff. But the Lifebound items have changed. We're changing that system. I personally am kind of sad to see this happen, but it's clear that Lifebound's controversial and that people have a wide range of either love or hate for all things hardcore. And so we our next thing we're trying with that Lifebound that we we're hoping goes well, is that it's changing Lifebound to being an opt-in system. So instead of you finding Lifebound items as you run around the world, you would instead find Lifebound scrolls, and you can make any of your items into a Lifebound item if you so choose, and then bravely go out, risking losing that item if you die. But we will get rid of and no longer have the scroll of unbinding, so you can't unlifebound the item. You can only lifebound it. So it's a one-way thing, but you take on that risk. You can show your bravery and get that extra power from taking on that risk. Or not. If you just hate it, go sell the lifebound scrolls. You're fine. Just ignore the whole system. That's fine too. This idea came from, is it Doghouse? Is that his name? Is right? Let me make sure I have his name right.
I feel like that's right.
Yeah. This is an idea. It came from a fan. This is not just us. Like we didn't come up with it. It came from them, and let me double check. Yes, Doghouse, who usually talks to us about fishing, but in this case actually had a non-fishing related that. So that was this is Doghouse's idea, and we liked it, and so we're gonna give it a try. So if it's good, it's all Doghouse's idea. If it's bad,
it's all Doghouse's. Let's
me.
just okay, all right.
Yeah, we'll come up with something better if you don't like it. Not everyone likes everything, but nonetheless, we'll try our best. So anyway, that's the change to Lifebound coming. Scrolls of Lifebound, no more Scrolls of Binding, opt-in system. Be brave, be awesome, go out there, do the Lifebound thing, or not if you don't like it. Next on the list, something we've been wanting to do for a while, but we just finally got to it and have it ready to ship, is buyback. So there's now a buyback in town. People who make mistakes and customer support people everywhere are now feeling quite happy because you now have a way to get back that item. It only works. It does not work for sending your pet to town. That's just you've made that choice. But when you're in town and you go to the vendor and sell things, you can buy those things back while you're still in town. When you leave town, it's gone. At that point, you've committed.
I mean, a pet doesn't know how to buy back something, right? He's not going to be like, hey, good sir, I believe I've made a mistake.
Exactly.
I'll take it.
And usually that's where you kind of trash your stuff anyway. That's not where the hard decisions happen. So there you go. That's in. Next on the list, we have added some dedicated servers in Australia. And we're hoping that'll improve latency for those players, or possibly for other players in the Asian Pacific area that might have a better connection to those servers than to the current Asia servers we have. So hopefully that's good for some people. We're hoping that's something that works out. And I see some Aussies are in there saying, yes, I'm in Australia. They're so happy. That's good. Another weird thing we did, but I'm not going to go straight to what the change is. I'm going to first walk through the why, and then we'll explain what we did. So we're noticing a lot of players, first of all, feel like it's required that they have an escape skill, because they feel that they get trapped and surrounded. They also feel like that the collision and stuff and movement is kind of punishing, and they get stuck a lot surrounded by monsters. And we've done a few things in this space. First of all, we have adjusted the monster collision size so that they actually are smaller, and you can now weave through them much more easily. We've additionally put in that potions, when you drink them, will now do a knockback.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So if you are surrounded, you could push and kind of get out of being trapped when you drink the potion, and then probably survive without an escape skill by doing that. Maybe not. It's your choice on all these things, but it's one thing that kind of helps you kind of get out of trouble. Not all the time, It makes that potion skill a little more utility, more useful. We had some other ideas instead of doing that we might look at, but we that's the attempt we're going to try for now. Oh, somebody's talking about the relic. They're saying that's Coldheart, guys. If you haven't seen Coldheart in action, Coldheart's. Oh, actually, that is Coldheart's new activation. I guess you have seen Coldheart in action, but that's just the new Coldheart. We have that on the list too. Shoot, maybe I can skip to that. There's a lot of changes to relics, ladies and gentlemen. And we're not done. We have many more plans for relics, and we could go into that at the end. But for this patch, what we've done with relics is we attempted to take where Bane was in our kind of excitement and love for all things summoning and pets and having all those little spiders falling around and going, people like Bane because it's leaning into a strategy, it's got power, and so can we take Bane, make Bane better? Because Bane still is not perfect. Bane certainly needed love too, but can we take Bane and make it better and then try to raise the other ones in our current system up to that level of awesomeness? So we have done some work to do that. So Bane, I believe in this build, Bane summons a spider on its active skill. Its activation skill puts those spidery missile things out in all directions, no longer just giving you kind of a hula hoop of poison, but actually goes out and shoots out a bunch of poison stuff. And at the ultimate version, when you get to maxed out Bane, will summon as many spiders as you can handle and a big spider. And it's all summony, spidery, summony, spider. In that now. So yeah, and so I think that's been a good step. We've then gone to the other ones and said, well, Coldheart's really about CC, crowd control and cold, slowing things down, and that glacier thing, while cool was buggy, and even when it worked, wasn't that great anyway. So we replaced it, and now you have a whole new active skill. Maybe you could equip that in a second if you want.
Yeah, I just clipped Bane so that I could take a look at that one real quick.
Oh, you got Bane. Yeah, you can show
Bane.
Bane then. Yeah, Bane's got its cool stuff. But yeah, so Bane's now much more about summoning. Coldheart's now more about crowd control. Instead of that big glacier block, it now does a spray of cold air stuff that cools things, and it freezes them initially, but then cools them for a while, which means it's much more crowd control helpful now, and that sort of thing. And then Electrode is now much more about random lightning damage. So just to back up one thing, so one of our problems with what we had in the relics before was all the active skill you got, almost all of them were basically, let me just do damage to things in front of me. They were all various flavors of damage to things in front of me, active skill. And so we've changed it to now really be more about strategy that character is about. Uh-oh, don't die. Oh, there you go. Awesome. That's awesome. It's being much more strategy. So Electrode is now much more about random electrical damage, not just and so when you pop Electrode, it now zaps things randomly around you for a while, as you have this buff that just kind of calls down lightning on random targets that are around you. So yeah, that's gonna be cool. And then Flaming Destroyer is the same, because that big sword slamming down has just been awesome, and who would want to change that? Other than I think when you activate Flaming Destroyer, it does 3 of those things now, something like that. And Blood Drinker now, when you activate Blood Drinker, has 4 of those big spinny blade things going around you for a while as you run around trying to get things to bleed. So that's pretty fun. So yeah, it's a whole lot of changes for relics. trying to lean them more into different strategies, so they're not just different flavors or different elements, but actually different strategies for your character, making that decision even more important. We are looking at changes in the future to make Relic still more important, but we will hold that details of that for another time. So yeah, that stuff's going on. Real quick, it looks like Sean's answering a lot of the questions in chat, which is awesome. Let me see if there's anything else I need to just hop on or say here.
Oh yeah, do you have any updates about the ultra wide? I know there was players that were.
Oh yeah. Yeah, ultra wide. Yeah, there's players who've sent me. We've had some players send me a beautiful set of just screenshots so I can see what it really looks like on their ultra wide monitors and such. We have some progress in ultra wide. I don't think we're done doing the things for ultra wide that need to be done, but we have done one thing, which is, and it's on this top patch items, which is there's something called DPI scale, which is this thing that changes how big the interface is, like how much we make the buttons and icons and all the text and stuff bigger or smaller, and that is in relation to the size of your screen. So we have this curve we can adjust to say, oh, you've got a big screen, we'll make it a little smaller, or you've got a small screen, we'll not shrink as much, that kind of thing. And so we went and played with that curve and made it where if you've got a bigger monitor, ultra wide or just widescreen or high def in any way, it will make the UI smaller. Now we also realize that there is still a range of preference in this, and are hoping in a future patch to get like a option in the options, a little bit of wiggle room to adjust some yourself. But our first pass, as always, when asked for like an option or a change, is to actually just try to get the default setting to be a better thing. And so what we've done here is make it where, in general, the UI is smaller. And you can see this on Jill's screen that the HUD is not as big as it once was. Also, some of you probably played a game a lot will notice like that the radar in the upper right is now like up higher and has a softer treatment, and the level name is now below it, and like those notifications are like tucked in around the circles, like all that whole corner got lightened up and cleaned up a little bit, and so that also helps. So a lot of good stuff there. We have also, though, for ultra wide, there has been debate and discussion. Somebody's talking about big bars on the side, about how to handle the camera and such, because it is absolutely true when you're on ultra wide that you're kind of zoomed in more and you're missing some situational awareness with that wider screen. We've been talking about changes to camera that could help with that. We've even debated putting the bars on the side. There are some people who have ultra-wide monitors at our office who were very vocal about that being a bad idea. So we're still trying to figure out what to do. But we hope to get some more improvements there. So there you go. So anyway, more things on this list. We're getting through some of these things. There is toggle overlay map. You can change. There's a toggle overlay map. You can change the key bindings as to what button you want to use to change toggling the overlay map. We also, this made me very sad, and I actually made the code change, but I'm still sad about it. The overlay map will now stay up, even in combat. Jill's showing it off now. I hate it. I gotta be honest, but this is what people have asked for. This is what people want. We're trying to listen. But yeah,
Thank you,
I
Tyler.
feel like now you're switching to playing the 2D mini-map game and forget all the environment art. Just kind of, just look at that.
No,
look at that 2D art.
I still look at it. It's super beautiful. It's gorgeous, but now I just don't have to constantly figure out where I'm going. It's gorgeous. I love it.
I know. I feel like it's something we need to protect people from themselves on, but we're listening. We're bending. It's one of these things. It's like one of those irrational things where it's like trying to explain to people you're going to have a lot more fun on that road trip if you just put the GPS away. You're going to look around. You're going to experience where you are. You're going to get lost.
I feel that. You totally don't get lost when you have the map up. There's no sense of being lost, which,
looking at the world around you and trying to navigate through it. Instead, it's like, no, it told me to turn left. I turned left here. So that's fine. I get it. I'll give up that battle. I hate it. I won't play that way. I'm going to play the radar in the upper right. I'll have more fun than you.
You have more fun with me than me in life, Tyler.
I know. That's okay. You know, if that's what you guys really want, we're trying to listen here. Trying to do what people are asking for. That was the top Nolt request.
It was.
And so I personally went and made that change, and it hurts me, but we did it. What else is on this list? What did I skip? Oh, when you see a lucky item drop, so some of you might not be aware or not notice, we have this system in the game of luck. We have luck for gold, potions, and for items. And anytime that luck system says, hey, you got lucky, you got a cool thing, we actually are able to tell the difference between something that dropped just because things drop and it's something that drops because you had luck. And then when something drops because you had luck, we've put up a big lucky word that shows you, hey, your luck's working. It's helping you. One of the critiques we had in that space, we've had a couple critiques in that space, but one of them has been, I hate seeing the lucky show up when I just get trash items. So we, because it's kind of a weird letdown. And so we've changed it to where if you do get a lucky roll, it's always at least magic or better. So yeah, other things in this space we've talked about but haven't done yet. We've talked about like potentially having different lucky words show up if it's potion luck or gold luck instead of all of it just saying lucky. But we'll look into those things. Another thing has changed. We still have more changes here, but it's a step of improvement. Is that mimic chests? We have just like previous Torchlights, these chests that look like chests in the world, but they're actually monsters. They now their nameplates now are clearly look like a chest, so you can't just look at the nameplate and it says mimic monster or something like that. And they also drop better loot than they used to. So those are improvements. Just last night, I worked on and haven't been able to check in yet, but they still will stay invulnerable when you attack them when they're hiding. And so I've got a fix for that coming, but it won't be coming out next week. That's still that stuff's destined for later. So yeah, mimics are getting more and more hidden every day. We're trying our best to make sure that that is a cool surprise and a rewarding surprise. So anyway, those are coming. Anything else on this big list? Oh, here's one. When you get revived and you're in a party, when you're in a party and you die, somebody can revive you, which is super cool and fun and will be a key part of future stuff coming. But as it is, especially our end game, this is going to be vital to play with other people and revive them. But one of the problems we had is I kept getting revived like on top of spike traps in Act 3.
Or like the fire traps, or
yeah. And those spike traps like were insta killing me. Yeah. So I'd get revived and then
drop down. Yep.
And then revive and then die. And so
super funny though. But
what?
I said super funny, but not very productive.
Yeah, it was hilarious the first 4 or 5 times. But
it gets old.
It got old. Well, first of all, nerf the spike traps, so we're fixing that. But next, we are making you invulnerable for a little bit of time when you get revived, so that you got a little time to get out of trouble. So that'll be a thing. Yeah, let's see. What else? Somebody's asking if we could have a third mode for the map where we don't show the overlap or the radar. That's like JH8. JH, I love what you're saying there. I like where you're going, and that's certainly speaking my language. That's like, don't even get the map out. Don't even have the GPS. Just look around and follow the signs. And I like that. We might look into doing that. That wouldn't be too hard. And it would minimize the UI in general, declutter it some. So let me write that one down. Hide map. Hide map state. All right, look at this. You guys are helping us make the game better, one idea at a time. Yeah, one person suggesting, and I think this is an interesting one. Before I go through the rest of the bug list, there's some good ideas coming out here in chat. Someone's saying that the nameplates on the gadgets just kind of feel like cheating. You know, like it'd be nice if it just showed up on items, but not on the gadgets when you have nameplates turned on. I don't know. I kind of like that. I might look at that too, or have it be a separate checkbox. Either way, we should. Because I did feel like, oh, now I could see all the things, and I'm not looking for what I can click on. I'm just looking at nameplates and clicking nameplates from now on. Yeah. So let me put that on too. Okay. Wow. Okay, it has. Oh, this was the like big changes, but then there's even more changes that we're just trying to call out here. Okay, another big area we've gotten feedback in that we're trying to make improvements on. We have many more improvements coming. I don't think some of those made the cut though, but some of them did. So when you do a melee attack in our game, in general, melee people thought of as have been saying is just not as viable. It's not as fun. People are biasing pretty strongly in their time towards playing the range classes. So we're trying to figure out how to get melee to be better. And so a few things we're doing to help with melee. One of them is we have already had this mechanic where if you do a melee attack, you get a status effect, a buff that makes you invulnerable or like not take as much damage, like a certain percent. Previously, I believe that percent was 30%. We have cranked it up. How high have we cranked that up? I think it's something like 50 or 70% now. So I think it's a much bigger defense when you have been doing melee that'll protect you from getting hurt as much. And also that plus the movement collisions where the monsters aren't as big means you're flowing through monsters more easily in melee. I'm not sure. I don't think it made it into this patch, but coming soon. If it's not in this patch, you also will get hit monsters. Like when you hit them, they will do the get hit animation, interrupting their attacks and such almost all the time, or very often when you're doing melee. And ranged attacks don't get this benefit, but the melee ones will just get a lot more like I'm hitting the guys and they're getting hit and they're knocking back a little bit and they're reacting to what I'm doing. So all that will feel better. So we're leaning into trying to get the melee better, guys. But it's still not done. We're still doing more, but this patch definitely has some big improvements in that direction. And in general, just getting stuck on monsters and moving through monsters feels a lot better as a consequence of the collision size change. So all that stuff's coming. Let's see, what else we got on the list here. The pet shelter and forts can now be moved. There was this whole bug where you could place it, but you couldn't move it. Hopefully that works for other things too where we couldn't do it. But yeah, that's a cool thing. Especially for people who like to rearrange their forts. Somebody's asking if Act 3 is the last one. Act 3 is the last act in the launched version of the game. Acts take us many months, almost a year, maybe more than a year to make. So we're not just going to cram in another one. It's gonna. But yeah, no, we have 3 acts, and this is the last act. Some missing legendarian items. We added more items to the legendarium. We had a few items that weren't quite ready. I think that got done. I believe that's what that's talking about.
Yeah, I think a few of them were broken and not working correctly. So now I think they've been added now that they're working correctly. If I remember Michael's note right.
Cool. That's very cool. We added random chest cannon option to gamblers, so now you could go and gamble for a chest cannon. For all you forged out there, this is an important thing because that's like a very important slot to get the right thing in. And boy, I do get frustrated if I go a long dry spell without getting an upgrade to the cannon. And boy, it's nice to be able to go back to that gambler and get that fixed. So that'll be cool. Oh yeah, the luck tree consumable item and stuff. there was some bugs around the luck tree quests, and at one point the luck tree quest was like a per character quest when it really should be an account level quest, and all of that stuff. I think all of that got cleaned up, so that's a good thing. We have a lot of changes to skills. I don't know if I can probably go to that section and walk through that specifically, but there's a whole bunch of that coming. And there's also now a mysterious wanderer in Travail Point.
How mysterious.
Very mysterious.
I wonder what that's about, Tyler. I bet
A mysterious wanderer. Now, I've worked on games with a wanderer before, which I kind of find it funny that we use the word wanderer again, but because the wanderer was a big part of Diablo 2. But nonetheless, we have a wanderer in Travail Point. That is hinting towards our end game, guys. I'm gonna give away at least that much of it. I don't think does that give away too much, Jill?
no, I don't think it gives away enough.
Okay, here we go. All right. That's gonna be where you pick up and start your journey into endgame. I think the one thing I can probably say safely, it'd be good to say, is that the endgame stuff is going to be gated to you actually having killed the final boss at the end of Act 3.
So legit endgame.
Like legit endgame, and even to the point that we've recently made sure that you can't. No, it's not bulletproof. There's a big loophole here, but you can't just go into your fort and start doing endgame stuff with your second, third, fourth character who haven't killed the end boss. You still need to. However, there's a big gaping loophole, and that loophole is the loophole we almost always allow. That if you're going to party with people, then if some of your party members haven't done the final boss yet, they can still portal to you wherever you are and participate in in-game stuff, no matter, even if they just are level 1. I don't know. If you want to break the game that way, have fun. That's fine. So yeah, that's going. And then from there we go into just the general patch notes. The next 17 and a half pages of things. I think before doing that, what do you think, Jill? Should we talk about Equinox? Should we talk about this contract thing here?
Yeah, you could talk about. I just opened up my contracts to take a look and see what has been updated, because I know that some stuff got moved around and some port props got, I think, put in there at some point during beta. I haven't taken.
We've had fort props there a while, but we might have changed which ones.
Yeah, I think they got a little bit swapped out, just in the things. But
first, let me just tell you what this thing is in general, if you don't know what it is.
Oh yeah.
So this is pretty much just transparently, this is a battle pass system. Lots of games out there have battle pass systems. Fortnite's well known for it, but there's a whole bunch of others that do the equivalent of battle passes. This isn't our whole answer to endgame. We have other things coming, but it is one of our things that says, why should I keep playing after I've killed the boss and finished the story? And this is one of our answers to say, because there's all these cool rewards here that you can keep earning by just playing the game, if you just keep playing. And what it is as you complete quests and kill bosses, you earn fame. Very Torchlight thing to do. As you get more fame, you level up, and you unlock all these things. Anywhere in your count, you earn fame, it goes to leveling this up, and you can unlock all sorts of cool stuff. Everything from stuff for your fort to gameplay stuff like Ember Cores or Respectacles, things like that. It's all there. We're not selling this stuff. We're not selling contracts. It's just part of the game. You get you have 3 contracts to choose from. Which parts of the game do you want rewards from? And you can play it and you get more stuff.
So, Tyler, somebody is asking, does this reset every few months? How would you explain how people can grind rewards even when they complete the whole tree?
So you can grind all the way, like as she's shown here, you get to the end of the contract, and then there's this looping section that has random rewards that you could just keep looping through all you want. And that's something you can just keep doing over and over and over again. Pick which contract you want to loop through at the end. You have to earn your way up to the looping section, but when you get to the end, there's this big looping part, and you can loop through those rewards, and that just keeps going. So So yeah, and we've got some that are focused on crafting. We've got some focused on adventuring and kind of leveling, min-maxing, and some left focused, I think, more on forts. Is that the other one? I can't remember. There's 3 big categories. So each of those is just a whole bunch of new ways to get cool. A lot of it is for your fort, but there's a lot of other stuff in there too.
Yeah, extra character slots, pets even.
Yeah, pets you unlock,
storage
character slots.
Yeah.
Yeah, storage stash tabs, I believe we have in there.
Recipes.
Oh yeah, enchantment recipes and stuff, all sorts of good stuff. So there's. Okay, well you got that part working. That's good.
Hey, yes, my internet blipped, so the whole thing came crashing down.
Oh no!
But I think we're still. Did we live? We're back. We're back. It automatically.
We back?
It automatically booted itself back up.
Yapper, what are you doing to us?
Everyone can blame either Yapper or Comcast for that one.
There you go. Yapper might be in charge of Comcast. We're not sure.
Sounds right.
Yes, Yappercast.
We're back
right.
though. Go ahead. Sorry.
We're back. Excellent. I don't even know where I was. I was rambling about something, I'm sure. Oh, contracts. Yeah, those things are on. There's all sorts of cool stuff in there. We're super excited for you guys to be able to play with it.
And what about Econoc? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Econoc, Act 3. So this Econoc town, it looks very different from our other towns. It's, we try to go for contrast and a different feeling scale. This is more of our kind of mountainside resort that feels like it's been there for a long time. Because the dwarves have had their big thing in the mountain, and humanity's kind of come and been trying to raid and get stuff in the mountain for a long time. So it's got some permanence and feel to it. It's got a bigger scale and scope. We're trying in Act 3 to make things feel grand and epic. Everything's got kind of a larger scale. There's like bigger vistas. The architecture is massive and strong. It's this bigger, grander act as opposed to kind of the more lighthearted Act 1 and the gross Act 2. This is more of a big epic feeling.
Very outdoorsy, very gorgeous, like very naturey.
Also, and this is just kind of part of game development, is that since it's the last act we've made, it's gonna look and play and feel a lot better than the other acts. Like our environment team has learned a lot from the different random level texts and approaches we've done so far, and now as you get here, they're really starting to see their full capabilities in play, and so there's a lot of cool things that they've been able to do here. It's really awesome. And this is the ascent that she's working her way up here. That is actually just kind of the first level coming out of town. It's the only level that looks anything like this. It's kind of our transition from that happy town to getting into the dwarven architecture and stuff, and it's trying to kind of help you get from one place to another, like aesthetically as we go. It's also unusual in that it really has a bunch of big, heavy hitting monsters, which yes, you can dodge, but but it's like those and rats is the kind of unusual mix of monsters for anywhere in our game. Also, the big thing for Econoc is lightning. So this is like, we had fire in Act 1, we had poison in Act 2, lightning damage is the big thing in Act 3. So, yeah, there's a lot of lightning going on around here.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, and here comes the big view.
So pretty.
Yeah. The camera just pulls all the way out. It's fun stuff.
And the big boss battle of Act 3 is awesome.
And honestly, we have even more improvements to it coming after this patch. Like, we've already loaded up and are prepared to do even more with it. But it is already pretty epic and pretty awesome. The fights here, there's some pretty good boss fights. The 3 big ones are pretty great. And then there's a whole bunch of the smaller ones in there too. So I'm pretty excited. For the people to get in there and really be playing those. And you can see this is just big grand architecture, big open spaces. a lot more width and breadth. We were a little more willing in like this particular level and some of the similar ones to open it up a little wider and have you explore a little bit more horizontally and stuff as you're trying to find the exits than like for instance those early levels where we're trying to channel you a little more and kind of make sure you don't get lost. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, no, Act 3, it's got these really cool flyer things. When you get deeper into it, we introduce one of the really cool mechanic, which is kind of hidden in some ways, but is that these power coil tower things that will buff the monsters around them and give them new abilities, supercharge them, and just make them a lot more dangerous. And so, much like in Act 2, where we have like the egg pods and the guardians that you worry about, these power coils are a way of just making sure that you've got some other thing to attack that isn't necessarily just attacking you directly. Something in the back row that you're going to worry about, that you want to go after, that is that changes up the game. So yeah, pretty cool. Oh, and then there's also little power coil things that zap you. I don't think they one-shot anymore. I hope they don't. We keep trying to nerf them. There's little zappy things that just kind of create places of danger and caution as you move around the world. That are just kind of these zappy hazards. You have to watch out for.
I did see some updates to hazards, so I do think some of them are updated in this patch under the environment section.
Oh yeah. Boy, it's just this to have this 18 pages in your head. There's just so much stuff here.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Oh yeah. Let's see. Let me jump ahead to the last part of the patch list, which is the class skill changes, because a lot of people are really into that.
One of the biggest ones was Vortex Bomb. I know a lot of people were really sad that it no longer did the pull-in effect, and that but
yeah, did we get the actual fix in for that?
I believe it's there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Also,
cool. Yeah, so the story. Let me tell a quick story with that. So, Vortex Bomb is the heat spender that you start with as the forged, and it pulls in the surrounding monsters and then explodes out and does damage, and it feels really cool most of the time. But the problem we had is it was pulling in the monsters on top of you, and then we also had other issues where when they were on top of you, you couldn't really move, and you basically just trap yourself. So yeah, and now then we had trouble fixing that in the right way. So the quick fix we got out there, as a quick patch, was stop pulling them in so you don't get trapped. And now we fixed it so that both pull them in and not get you trapped. So yeah, that's coming.
There was also, I saw a fix in the patch notes for sharpshooters, pets not attacking, goblins, and
I think that's better. I hope that's better. We keep thinking that thing's fixed, and it keeps coming back to haunt us. I get nervous about making promises there. But yeah, we need to make sure that's good. I believe I think just yesterday we fixed Shasta, because I think Shasta was having problems after you died. I think that got fixed too. So I think we're still working in that space. But there is still a long list of class skill changes and fixes. But I also have a little bit of data trivia I could do just before that, since we're talking about classes. Anyone want to guess what the most popular class is now? We'll do a quick little bit of trivia thing. What do you think is the most popular class for characters?
I mean, I'm a sharpshooter fan, so that's my guess.
Some people are saying Dust Mage, Railmaster.
I do hear
the Alpaca. No, it's not the Alpaca class.
I hear a lot of people talking like that they're playing Dusk Mage, so maybe Dust Mage.
Dust Mage is a popular class. It is and it honestly it reigned as the most popular class very strongly for a long time. But no, it's still Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter's still up there.
Yeah, that's because it's the best class.
Yeah. I think we, as the newest class we made, I think we did a better job of hitting the notes that people are looking for with the Sharpshooter. So
it's a fun one.
I'm glad to see it's working. Okay, for me, the whole order of these just seems so obvious but it's how it is when you see the data. How about second most popular, guys? What do you think second most popular?
I mean, Dusk Mage, right?
You think Dust Mage?
It has to be.
Has to be Dust Mage? Yeah. What do you guys, the Yapper class? Dust Mage second? Yep, Dust Mage still second. It's still, and honestly, Sharpshooter still got 10 points over Dust Mage as far as popularity goes.
Wow.
And the Forged and Railmaster are now even closer together to being tied in time spent. Like, they're now 0.2% of time and hours apart, to the point that I'm not even going to say who's ahead, because at that point, who cares? But yeah, Railmaster and Forged tie for third and fourth. So yeah, anyway, so given that, I will start talking about Sharpshooter changes first, because that's where everybody's at, right? Oh, a couple of the things that just apply to everybody. We now cleaned up a lot of things about charges and how the UI works with charges, and so we now actually show the time being built up towards your next charge, just like we do with cooldowns. So yeah, that's happening. And then we also, when it comes to skills, and we're gonna see what you guys think of this, because it's pretty. Jill's worried that this is gonna be unpopular, so I'm gonna try to say it, and we'll see how it goes. But we disabled the use of skills in town.
Anybody? What's your thoughts on that?
So the reason we did this is, we don't want to tank each other's frame rate. We're trying not to let people like troll. So for now, we've turned off the skills in town. So let's see how that goes over. But that's been the case. There's some minor UI changes with it. The damage reduction bonus for melee, that thing I talked about, where we moved up to 50% damage reduction when you have done a melee skill. Now we're making sure that actually happens with the weapon attacks as well. So that way, if any build you're doing that does melee, even if you're a Dust Mage hitting with a staff, you can get some extra damage reduction for whacking with that staff. So all melee builds will get a little bit more of that protection, and now that protection got increased, like I said, from 30% to 50%. So that's pretty awesome.
Tyler, somebody said no skills in town, literally unplayable.
There you go. Well, this is an easy thing for us to waver on.
No, it sounds like people actually don't mind it. I'm glad to hear that won't disrupt too many people.
We can see. Maybe we'll pick out some skills that we're like, these skills are okay, but not those skills. I don't know. We can figure it out. So sharpshooter changes. Since we know sharpshooters are a lot of our audience, let's talk about sharpshooters. So we added more male heads. There's still more in progress that we're working on, but there's more head options. We nerfed how much ammo you regen by about 25%, because the ammo, people weren't feeling the pinch of ammo enough. Reload wasn't mattering enough. It was a little too strong, but that just got a little tweaked, just 25%. Ghost Visage now can teleport an additional 2 meters further, so you can now teleport even further with Ghost Visage. Heartseeker's Tier 3 milestone bonus, the missiles that show up when you get that Tier 3 bonus, they spread out more, they seek out targets a little more slower, and they speed up over time to hit their targets. So that way, previously they just kind of clumped up and went after the main thing you were shooting at anyway. So now they've got a little more cool stuff going on. Fixed issues with targeted strikes hitting the character's bow. What?
Oh, that might be hiding. See,
hiding the character's bow.
Yeah, that might need to be hiding.
So it used to be hiding the bow. No, it says hiding. I just read it wrong.
Oh, that's okay. I was like, it could be. There's still some grammar and typo stuff in there.
No, it's all me. Apparently we were like having some visuals with the target strikes. Target strikes ammo regen bonus also got nerfed to 30% instead of 50% because you guys are getting way too much ammo. The Shasta pet now gets a buff whenever it takes damage, giving her up to 50% bonus damage. So, yeah, Shasta's a little stronger, got a little more cool thing going on. Whenever you cast Loyal Shasta again, it can replace it with a fresh one so that it has more health. The targeted strikes, tier 2, that's kind of the other thing it said. Let me read some more here. Adjusted. So the Sharpshooter Goblin skill doesn't, it now has a maximum of 5. So it's not quite as many of them, and it's only 1 goblin per cast instead of getting insta-horde of goblins like we previously had. Yeah, it was just too easy to get a horde of things going. It didn't feel like you earned having a whole bunch of goblins around. You just kind of did a couple buttons and boom, you got a pack of goblins. So we're making that a little bit more work. And it's just, you just had too many goblins. So yeah, that got nerfed. The Onslaught's tier 3 bonus now does bigger explosion damage. And now it also does better damage over time than it was, which was just doing 1 before. So that Onslaught got fixed a lot. More damage reduction on Curse of Pippi from 15% to 25% per stack. Yeah, I didn't feel like you were feeling that damage reduction bonus before, and now that Curse of Pippi is much better tactical skill than it was. There was an issue where the Sharpshooter pets just weren't attacking. That got fixed. The Sharpshooter's tier 1 Goblin bonus now extends the Goblin lifespan, so those Goblins last longer at tier 1 now. And there's been all sorts of little issues where if I do the procs on the adventure side and then use precision to use that proc, sometimes that wasn't working, or it's kind of lots of bugs around it, and we feel like we cleaned all of that up. So whew, that's a lot of Sharpshooter changes. That comes from a combination of feedback, me playing the game, giving feedback, us noticing stuff, QA. There's just tons of stuff. We did a big pass on Sharpshooter, and we also did a big pass on the Dusk Mage. So it also has many more lines of changes. Railmaster and Forged are coming later. We're still working our way through Railmaster and Forged improvements, but definitely got a big passes on this in this patch. Ton of changes for Dusk Mage and Sharpshooter. Any questions I should answer before I go into Dusk Mage changes? Is this what you guys want to hear? Is this these like skill changes, or should I be looking for other parts of the patch notes? I mean, because with 18 pages, we got a lot of choices.
There's tons of monster and like boss fight changes.
Oh yeah.
We've increased the fort complexity limit, so the amount of decorations you can have to 500. Reliquary enchanting tables no longer cost 500 gold to build. Fox's busted stone arch is back in the game. There's all sorts of stuff. We only have a few minutes left, so I'm not sure what else we can get in there.
I know.
Before, but I'm trying to look through this list to see if there's any other really big ones that I can point out. There's a credit screen, and we gave some of our members from the community a holla, I believe. I haven't seen it.
Awesome.
Let's take a look. Oh, here we go. We're rolling credits.
Oh, we're gonna roll credits?
Because
I went with the alphabetical approach.
I have not seen this yet. I didn't take a look at this. So we this is a big, highly controversial, big challenging debate type of thing of like, do you give each person's title? Do you put it in order? What order of titles? Do artists come before programmers or programmers come before artists? Blah, blah, blah. What about people who were here that are no longer here? You know?
Yeah, people who've left. I believe we have as an alphabetical list of all the people who have worked with us on the game for any period of time as a full-time employee of Vectra. I'm even seeing some names of people who were only there for a few months.
Yeah, but I mean they're involved. They're part of the game.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And we're trying to be equal and nice about this. I mean, and honestly, the other thing is one of our values as a team is use all your talents. And so what that means to me is that even if you're a server engineer who knows graphics programming, go ahead, do the graphics programming. Don't worry about what your name's going to say in the credits. Just do what you can to help. And so we did that. We just put them alphabetical. Perfect World also went with the alphabetical approach. They've got all their names just listed. I think this is the right thing to do and pretty cool. So
we've got, let's see, looking through other patch notes to see if I can get any other things before. I mean, there's a bunch of
Entropy got a little bit of nerfing. Radiant Blast, there was a big bug in it at one point that got nerfed because you could get that thing ridiculously powerful. That got fixed. There's some buffs around Radiant Blast as well, but we nerfed that big bad part, and you have a longer range on it. I think Radiant Blast is going to be more of a thing. Light Spear heals a lot more, but only heals off the first thing it hits. So that's cool. Makes it more reliable.
There's all sorts of effects and SFX. There's cinematics that have been added.
Yeah, we did a big pass on the boss monster fights, and so a lot of boss monster improvements, like the big bosses, the big 9, got a lot of stuff. I think the only one who didn't get the full pass of fixes is the final one, although I see several for the final boss on here still, but I think there's still some that are coming.
And
so that's gonna be good.
Just to make sure that I want to make sure something's very clear, or maybe we can make it clear. Just because it didn't get into this patch, your suggestion still might make it in another patch. And just because you've mentioned content that might not be here for launch doesn't mean that there won't be content after launch.
Right.
Yes.
So honestly, what you're seeing here in this patch is a collection of fixes that just didn't quite make it into early access, fixes that happened just after early access but were really important, and that's it. Like, we don't have the full barrage of all the things the whole team was just let loose to do since early access started 2 weeks ago. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and we took some of the community ones that we could get in there and merge really quickly and stuff like that. But a lot of this initial patch is stuff that was already in the works before EA was even released. So you're going to see more and more stuff from the community side and suggestions and feedback, bug reports that we haven't gotten to, things like that in future patches. And just because there's been mentions of things that won't be there for launch doesn't mean that content won't come in after launch. So we have post-launch content plans.
Yes, we do. We have plans to try to keep this thing going. We're assuming success, and we are trying to plan for the next things to make and try to be prepared for that. But we are, at the same time, the highest priority is a good launch, and we're trying to make sure that's true. We also have, we are super excited about the next 3 patches. We've got this one next week. We have another one coming after that, which is currently slated for being 2 weeks after. We're trying to do a patch every 2 weeks as best we can. The next week is this whole new act, contracts, a ridiculous number of changes, more than I've ever seen in any patch notes anywhere personally. And then the next one after that is going to be endgame stuff. And then we have even bigger, another cool, awesome thing we're going to do for the one after endgame, that we are just now trying to get the designs in place and try to get ready to start work in earnest on it next week. So every 2 weeks is what we're trying to aim for.
All right, yeah. I think we are at noon, so I think we should close her on up. And awesome. This wasn't even close to the amount of patch notes. I think we get overwhelmed when we look at this to even know where to start. Again, a lot of these are small bug fixes or like UI updates or things like that, but there's some really sizable things in here, including all of Act 3, all of the contracts, all of these big Relic updates that you've been watching. I tried to switch through a few of them as I was playing. There's quest fixes for all sorts of things, so it's just a explosion of just random awesome. So
yeah, we hope you guys enjoy it. We'll keep listening for feedback and stuff of what you think on it. Just keep playing it and letting us know what you think of these steps, and then we'll keep making more steps forward.
yeah, and as soon as the patch comes out next Tuesday, we'll go ahead and clean on notes, scrub the things that we conquered off of it, and see what the next few things that top the list are. And for everyone, thank you for watching today. Keep checking back on our Twitch, Twitter, Discord for more streaming events and developer updates. We are super excited for Tuesday and look forward to everyone being able to check it out, the updates, the patch notes, and Econoc. It will be great to see people actually be able to beat the game. And we'll see you all back on the frontier soon, definitely next week. Thank you again, Tyler, for joining us.
Thanks, guys. It was a pleasure.
See you guys later.
Yeah.